I had a chance to play Forza Horizon 6 earlier, and I have to admit that I'm having almost 2 weeks before release, the files of Forza Horizon 6 leaked onto the internet, and the devs' reaction was, well, comical, and we as players had the opportunity to watch how, for once, a publisher became the victim of the very system it created itself. I warmly invite you to watch. A huge number of players is already playing Forza Horizon 6. In Steam rankings, besides Subnautica 2, it was the most wishlisted game of this year, where a February report states that as many as 2.6 million players were waiting for it. For racing game fans, it is what FIFA is for football fans and what Call of Duty is for fans of insulting your mother. We are dealing with the biggest map so far, taking us from the neon streets of Japan all the way to roads with the view of Mount Fuji itself with over 550 cars. The release was planned for May 19, but fate had different plans for Forza Horizon 6. According to our current knowledge, on May 10 through a Steam update files containing the full unencrypted game were accidentally pushed out. That's a serious security breach in the company that might affect financial results. At first, players and journalists assumed that this was simply a preload error where you download the game but it only unlocks on release day. Very quickly it turned out that this package was open. Over 150 gigabytes of code landed, available for everyone on a public server. Theories appeared about what could be behind such a large screw-up. Maybe it was the fault of a manager who fired most of the employees claiming AI would handle it better. Or maybe it was committed by an unfortunate intern hired in place of an employee, causing too many problems and costs with their attachment to the brand. After all, a passionate, experienced worker could feel in a position to question adding 3 body types instead of a man and a woman to the game. Is this the 3-body problem Netflix made a show about? Doesn't matter. What matters is the way recent events in the industry allow for such mistakes and why an ecosystem is being created around games in which there will be even more of these mistakes. Apparently it was an automated script that pushed an internal branch without protections to a public node. In my work, I make sure that code is always placed in the proper service as a draft version, and it's up to us, humans, to finally approve the final version. Microsoft lacked that. They lacked a human supervising their automation. He was probably fired as a part of restructuring and planned layoffs. And this is exactly how companies end up when they do not appreciate the human factor in the creation process. The gaming industry is trying to cut costs, create production lines for making games in which people will be needed as little as possible. Ubisoft tried to create such a system, thanks to which over the years we were getting practically the same huge worlds made out of identical, slightly customized blocks. Then came the AI era, where there was even greater hope that people could be replaced with automation. According to reports, at the beginning of this year, as many as 36 of the industry used AI tools at various stages of production. Situations where something goes wrong cool down this enthusiasm, because the company trusts an automated process and then they have to pay for it. As a result, within the next few hours, the game was already ready to download and play on various pirate websites. Some YouTubers even started uploading gameplay videos 10 days before release. That was when panic started at Playground Games. Instead of approaching this problem like human beings, simply fixing the issue and taking the loss on the chin, they went much further. They started blocking not only players, like Microsoft accounts, but introduced the nuclear option of hardware bans. Such players will have to buy a new computer to play Forza or wait until the year 9999. If you plan on waiting, then I'll point out that the ban lasts until December 31, if these 12 months matter to you. From a technical point of view, this is of course completely legal, because after all we signed the terms of service, and it is well known that the gaming industry is a legal grey zone, which is exactly what Stop Killing Games is fighting against. One such player was DVS Squad or Devious Squad, who uploaded a video from Forza to his channel and received ban for the next 7,973 years, and then praised the game itself, gushing over its quality. By mocking their reaction, he gave them pretty solid advertising at the same time. But piracy has existed in the industry for a long time, so why did the studio responsible for Forza decide to use a cannon against the fly? Why did they react with such a panic to the hacking of the game that could have happened anyway, maybe even one day after the release, or hell, maybe even on the same day? Well, the reason is exactly what brought all of us here. It's this huge marketing system on which all modern game sales are based. We're talking about the economy of FOMO, meaning fear of missing out. You know, that feeling in the video game where you lick every wall because somewhere there might be a note or hidden extra resources, or you subscribe my channel to not miss on any new videos. Marketers transferred this to sales and it turned out to be a bullseye. Almost every new game release, especially those launching day one on Game Pass, contains a deluxe edition that allows the player to play a few days before others. The same situation applies to Forza Horizon 6, where by buying the edition costing $120, meaning paying a ton of money for a game you could play through Game Pass, you are able to play it a few days earlier than other players. And the psychological effect here is very strong. The internet gets flooded with reviews, streams, impressions, TikToks and everything around it. Everyone wants to show off their achievements, their experiences, and you sit at your computer thinking, if only I gave this company $120, I could also be a part of this event. That is exactly what they want, for you to have a chance to play but have to pay. You pay for prestige, for being a part of the group, and for DLCs to explain yourself to yourself that, oh, I'm not a loser that is buying this game to play a few days earlier, I'm actually buying it for some benefits. That is exactly what Avowed counted on, exactly what Starfield counted on, and exactly what they made the biggest money from. The same was achieved by Forza Horizon 6 despite the leak, because from May 15 it was already possible to play it in early access, despite the fact that release is planned for the 19th. And right before a premiere on Steam charts, we could see that at peak almost 200,000 players were driving around the world of Forza, achieving better pre-release numbers than the previous game in the series. And that's only on Steam. Maybe someone bought this edition in the Microsoft Store. FOMO was working at a full speed, people are spending money, drama resolved. And that is exactly why those 2 weeks before release Playground Games Studio panicked. Because this FOMO would work regardless of the way the game was released. During those few days when the cracked version was circulating on the internet and people were posting gameplay footage everywhere, exactly the same phenomenon formed in people's minds, already programmed there by previous games abusing their publishing privileges. Suddenly, people were no longer thinking, I need to pay to play that earlier, but they were thinking, I need to download this game illegally to play earlier, even if they wanted to buy it on release, even if the publisher's manipulation would have given them those extra few bucks. The system they themselves created suddenly became their enemy. On top of that, all that loyal players who politely spend money to feel special had to watch other players have fun in their anticipated game even earlier than them. Pre-release orders were saved by one important detail. Forza Horizon 6 is a live service game that you do not finish once and then forget about it. An important part of it is online play, challenges regularly added by the devs, and creating an overall player community that can spend hundreds if not thousands of hours on the streets of Japan. That is why this hardware banning was meant to be a scare tactic, forcing people to swallow their pride and not risk their hardware to just play the game without access to network features. And as we noticed, it worked very well. If you are one of these few people that are usually getting to this point of video, release more percentage, thanks a lot, I really appreciate that. We are dealing with a huge staffing problem in the gaming industry. Companies are firing employees, replacing them with automated systems, and then they are hugely surprised when such system makes a mistake or fails to notice some significant error. If this continues, mistakes like the one with Forza will only become more common, because as many of 76% of developers in the United Kingdom are considering changing professions. There is no point of fooling ourselves. Currently, Forza Horizon is being played by 270,000 players, something like this. So Forza Horizon 6 will be a success and it will not fail because of that one leaked build. Personally, I will never consider this kind of FOMO exploitation something normal, and it will always make me happy when such a game stumbles. Even if it would be a game 10 out of 10, like a mixtape or something. I would like to know what you think about the FOMO systems in games and whether you have ever fallen for it. And finally, how do you like Forza Horizon 6 if you're playing it? I'm not a racing kind of guy, so I'll probably play it once I manage to catch Game Pass cheaply. And in the meantime, thank you very much for spending time with me, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a great day. Goodbye.